Hey, greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West here, and welcome to the Steadfast and Loyal podcast. You gotta light them up before they burn it down. Better dig deep and put them in the ground. Blood on their hands, they're hellbound. Save us all. Ooh, they're gonna burn it down. Save us all before they burn it down. You know, I love history, and there's a good bit of history that's going to be happening this year. And it really kicks off the 250th celebration of our great nation, the longest running constitutional republic that the world has ever known. But too often what we find is that our kids aren't being taught history. Now they're being taught pronouns and stuff like that, and, and CRT, DEI, black people are oppressed, white people are oppressors. The country was not started and founded on July the 4th, 1776. It was in 1619, all of that nonsense. But I think it's important because if you don't understand from whence you came, you don't know where you are and you don't know where you're heading. And that's what progressives, socialists, Marxists, leftists love to do. That's all part of the fundamental transformation that they like to see in our United States of America. So to talk to us about a little bit of history, backed by popular demand, a lot of people really liked our initial interview with this young lady. Kerrie Ann Auclair is a Second Amendment advocate and firearms instructor. She serves as the Women's Advocacy Director and Women's Program Assistant for Gun Owners Action League, GOAL, GOAL, and leads the Massachusetts chapters of Women for Gun Rights and Armed Women of America. She is a business owner and mother, and she promotes education over legislation. Kerrie Ann, welcome back to the Steadfast and Loyal podcast.
Thank you for having me back again. This is awesome. Appreciate it.
A very special day is coming up that most people probably are not aware of, but we're going to talk about that in this little segment and your involvement. April the 19th of 1775. Most people don't hear or remember or talk about too much, Paul Revere's night ride and what it meant, the British marching inland toward Concord, Massachusetts, the skirmish that they had there that we know as the Battle of Lexington, where the shot was fired that was heard around the world. You're a native up there of Massachusetts. What does it mean for you as we get ready to celebrate the 250th anniversary, truly of the start of the American Revolution?
Yeah, this is going to be an amazing event. This means a lot to me. I remember a couple months ago, I was trying to figure out how we can get more people to realize and recognize what we're going through here with our Second Amendment fight. And I even said it would be really nice to have President Trump come down. And I know that April 19th would be a perfect opportunity to recognize that and celebrate that. So hopefully, if he's hearing this, he'll contact me and do a video or something, and I can add that to the event. But for me personally, I can't tell you how much this means to me. 250 years ago, the Sons of Liberty sat in that very field and fought for the freedoms and fought for our freedoms. And I feel like we are kind of still at that now today. The battle continues. But I think this is a perfect opportunity to remind every single person in the Commonwealth, in Massachusetts, that the fight is not over. We still have to do exactly what the Sons of Liberty did 250 years ago. Don't give up. If we give up, we're going to give up the rights to our freedoms, and we can't do that, to our civil rights, our Second Amendment, to our First Amendment, to any amendment, and we can't do that. We have to remember their legacy. We have to remember who fought on that very field. It was fathers and sons, and they sacrificed their names to their families to do so, and we can't forget that. And I think this is also, when my boss said, all right, let's do this, I didn't expect this to be where it is right now. I mean, we have some amazing, amazing individuals that are coming down and speaking, including yourself. And I can't wait for that. You know, Dick Heller, we got Doug Hamlin, Cam Edwards, Toby Leary, Adam Kraut. We even have a special guest, Jad Yanis. So, and so many more people are starting to recognize, hey, what's going on in Massachusetts? Even Massachusetts isn't really doing what they should be doing to celebrate and recognize this event. So I'm really excited to be here to talk about it. And I also think this is a great opportunity for other individuals to, you know, join forces, so to speak, or other organizations that are national that are fighting for the same thing here in Massachusetts, and to collaborate with each other and kind of you know, get in that circle again and say what can we do to fight for you? What can we do to fight for each other? Because it trickles, you know, it starts here, it can trickle to Massachusetts, New Hampshire, all our sister states, and every other state. So it's not just about Massachusetts' fight, it's about all of our fights.
You know, that's a very interesting thing that you bring up, because when you read and understand the words of the Second Amendment, it really does go back to what happened 250 years ago on April the 19th there in Lexington, because the well-regulated militia, okay, there was no Army, there was no Navy, there was no Marine Corps. Like you said, these were fathers and sons that answered a call to duty to stand on a field against the greatest military power that the world knew at that time. How special is that for the people there in that area around Lexington and Concord?
I know they have Lexington and Concord definitely has a lot going on that day. And if you do go to the website, you can go to goal.org and click on the dinner event, and we'll have a link there to the website for lex250.org. I think it's also you can go to that as well. So there's a lot going on, and they're celebrating. Don't get me wrong, they are celebrating, but I often wonder whether or not they truly know the history of it all. Do they truly know here how important that this is? So I'm excited because Goal is doing two different events. So in the morning, early in the morning at 5:30 in the morning, we are there to actually see a reenactment. I've never witnessed one before in my life, so this is going to be so exciting. I can't wait. So we're going to be recording that, and then so I'm going to be joined there by the Civil Rights Coalition. So Toby Leary, he's the founder of the Civil Rights Coalition. That was a petition ballot that was formed months ago when we were trying to collect the petitions. So their organization, including Goal, were working together that morning, recording the event, separating, interviewing people, coming back, and doing another recording. We're going to be doing a press conference and recording you running as well. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, you know, I got signed up to run in the Lexington 255-mile run. It's 111th time. I mean, I did not even know that this is, I mean, a quite historic 5-mile run, and it caps it off, I think, at 1,000 runners. So I'm pretty stoked about this. And
Yeah, this is exciting.
well,
Yep.
just tell whoever's filming me. I mean, don't get me with snot and stuff coming out of my mouth when I'm running it. That'd be kind of ugly. But you know, again, let's talk about one of the speakers that you have, Dick Heller. A lot of people don't know Mr. Heller, but he had an incredible and important case. This is an everyday guy. I mean, when you meet Dick Heller, who I know very well, and you know very well, you just say, this is just regular old Joe. But he took his case to the Supreme Court because in the city of D.C., District of Columbia, they did not want him to allow to have a firearm in his home to protect himself. And he
Right.
took that all the way to the Supreme Court. Talk about your relationship with Dick Heller.
So I met Dick Heller like maybe about 3 or 4 years ago during one of the Women's for Gun Rights trip that we had to DC. And that's how I met Dick Heller. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, when I first became a gun owner and everything else, I really didn't understand all the importance of Dick versus DC. I didn't Heller versus DC. I didn't really understand the importance. And then as I started getting more involved with my 2A journey and realizing the importance of how we have to protect our civil rights, I started researching and really recognizing the importance of certain individuals like Dick Heller who really helped us. So, He's an amazing man. And then the last time I really got to really get to know him was at the board meeting for the Second Amendment Institute. What was that, September, I think.
Hmm.
And I really got to know him. He's just, like you said, he's just a regular average Joe that has done some amazing things for us all, and he still continues to do so. So I am just so excited to call him my friend, call you my friend, call all these people my friend, but realize the hard work that every single person, including yourself, are doing every day for this fight.
You know, it's
So,
interesting because when you go back and you study that case, Heller versus DC, and there have been several iterations of it, but the original case, it only won in the Supreme Court 5-4. 5-4 to support the Second Amendment. I mean, you're one Supreme Court justice away from saying,
right.
nah, you don't have this right to be able
Can you
to
imagine?
defend yourself. And the same thing with McDonald versus the city of Chicago, where Otis McDonald challenged the same thing at that level. Why do you think the left continues, and you see that in Massachusetts, and I think it's such an irony that here is a place 250 years ago that the British were marching to destroy a weapons and armaments factory. Now here, 250 years later, we have leadership in Massachusetts doing exactly what the British tried
Yep.
to do all those years ago.
Yep.
How do you explain that irony?
I, I can't. I can't. The only thing I can honestly say is it's just a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of knowledge, and honestly, it's control. They want to control us and take our armory away and take our firearms away. And I did a class over the weekend, and it was a pepper spray class, and I made a term. I said, well, the laws changed here for Massachusetts regarding pepper spray. So now, and I explained it, and I said, welcome to Mass. And I rolled my eyes and giggled. And somebody in the audience said, you need to keep this neutral. And I really didn't understand what she meant by that. And then I realized she was talking about the fact that I was making a comment about how the state has made it so difficult for even pepper spray to be used by, kiddos. My 15-year-old kid now has to go back out and get a different permit because now the FID card is null and void. So,
Wait,
you
wait,
know,
hold. You have to get a permit to use pepper spray.
if you're under a certain age, yep, yep. So my daughter, who's 16 now, again, both my kids, I ran out and got them an FID card as soon as this law I knew was going to happen. And they did, they got it. And so therefore they were technically by law at that point was able to have pepper spray. And now the new law dropped and that changed everything. So now I have to go out and get another permit. But even the state doesn't even know it. My police chief don't even realize because I questioned him about it and he's like, no, the FID card is going to be fine. But no, it's not. Now it has to be a separate permit. So I made a comment like that, and it was just a pepper spray class, and I was kind of surprised that somebody was offended by the fact that I said, "Well, welcome to Mass," And so it goes to show you that by the end of the class, I think she got it. She understood the importance of what I was trying to get at. But if you go back to what I was saying earlier, it really truly is just like the red shirts, the moms demand action. It's a lack of knowledge. It's a fear of the unknown, and it's them being kept as a victim rather than a survivor. And I think the politicians also here in Massachusetts, I really truly believe that they're strong-armed into making decisions where they don't even understand what they're voting on. They don't get it. And I really wish that they would, reach out to Gold more, reach out to me more, reach out to people who are knowledgeable and can honestly tell you the truth of what an AR is. And it isn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very
Well,
frustrating.
well, it's Armalite. It's not automatic rifle. I'll never forget. There was some general on CNN, and he was demonstrating an AR, which an AR is a semi-automatic rifle. It's not. It can't go. It's not automatic. And he said, "I'm about to put it on full semi-automatic." And I'm thinking,
My
that's
God.
what a dummy. I mean, only on CNN would they get
Yes.
somebody to, yeah.
It's a
But
modern day sporting rifle. That's
it's a
all it
modern day
is.
sporting rifle. It's the musket of today. Let's talk about what you would like to see on April the 20th. Okay, it's the day after. What do you want the atmosphere to be? What do you want to be the takeaway from this April the 19th, 250th anniversary of the battles of Lexington and Concord?
I'm so glad you asked that. So I'm going to go back a little bit and talk about Representative Michael Day. About 2 years ago, he did a listening tour regarding guns and all sorts of different subjects. About 3 weeks after the listening tour, HD 4420 came out. Then it went to H 4885 and then became a Chapter 135 and Act of 2024. People threw their hands up. After that, they just threw their hands up and they said, I'm done. There were people moving out of the state. They just gave up. And I want this to be a moment where we collaborate together. I remember when HD 4420 came out, and we did an event in Quincy.
Can you tell people what HD 4420 is? You know, those of us.
Oh, yes. So it was a bill that was basically that the law now is. So it was the bill we were trying to fight to prevent Chapter 135 and Act of 2024 to hit. And unfortunately, we lost that fight.
And what does that do?
Oh, I can't even explain to you because there's so much involved. It changed everything. So the best bet, honestly, if you go to goal.org and click on Chapter 135, you'll be surprised how much. I would have to be here for 2 hours to discuss it. It's really egregious.
What's the most egregious thing you would say came out of that legislation?
Everything. The training section on there, everything. I mean, seriously, everything. I can't even, there's not one piece that I can say is okay. The whole entire bill is horrible. So I really do urge anybody that's listening to go to goal.org and click on Chapter 135 and really dig deep into this, because I literally could be here for 2 hours. But the training aspect of things have changed. We do have a little bit of a wiggle room with that. So, we are going to have to do de-escalation courses, live fire, a test. We as instructors will not be able to give. I will not be able to give my student a certificate. The state has to do it. But they don't even have everything in place. And that's just a little bit of what now will be changed. So to go back to your question, I hope on the 20th that Massachusetts folks that are gun owners, because there's 600,000 gun owners, probably more now in Massachusetts, that we just get back together again and realize the importance of fighting for what is ours. There's 17 bills that have been dropped from just goal. And there's a bunch of other bills that were dropped recently to try to fight this Chapter 135. So we're not done. And I don't want people throwing their hands up and saying, I'm done. I give up. We can't give up. We can't. For the Sons of Liberty that fought so hard 250 years ago, we cannot give up. We can't. And so I also want the other organizations that are listening to this and maybe are going to be participating with this event, that we all kind of unite again together, or unite stronger together and try to fight and help each other in each state, which I know we are. But I don't think everybody realizes how many organizations out there that are really, truly on our side.
Yeah, you bring up a great point, because, a lot of folks say, hey, Donald Trump won the White House, everything's good. Let's, just sit back and have a pina colada or a nice, Arnold Palmer, and it's all fine. But think about what just recently happened in Colorado, where they passed legislation to ban the future of semi-automatic weapons, anything with a detachable magazine, pistol, rifle, shotgun. We know in Minnesota that de-escalation, that's what you have to seek out first. If not, you can be held criminally liable instead of being able to stand your ground. And even here in the state of Texas, last week we were down with Gun Owners of America, Texas Gun Rights, National Association for Gun Rights. We have to pass legislation in the state of Texas to preclude red flag laws in the state of Texas, and civilian lawsuit protections from people that are out there justifiable self-defense shooting. So the fight does continue on. And I think that's the theme of your event. That's the theme of your dinner. Tell us a little bit more about the dinner event that's going to be up there in, I believe it's Boxborough, Massachusetts.
Yep. So during the day, as I mentioned, we're doing the field day, I call it, but the Lexington Battle field day. And then again, we're doing a press conference and then running back to the hotel. And at 4 o'clock, we're doing a dinner event. So it's going to be a dinner event. We're going to have some amazing speakers, as I mentioned. Um, and again, trying to recognize how we can't stop fighting. We just can't stop fighting. So, but we're also going to recognize and celebrate how hard we all worked for this past 2 years. And we're going to have some amazing pictures to remind us of that. We're going to have our members and amazing people within the community that are going to be there to celebrate, because this is a celebration of the legacy of Battle of Lexington and Concord 250 years ago. This is that day. And the battle continues. And it's just a reminder of how we need to work together and still continue that fight. And that feeling that we had 2 years ago, we can't lose that passion. We can't. So then we're going to have a live auction. We're going to have some raffles, and we're going to finish the night up with another amazing speaker. And yeah.
I hear you're going to have a muzzle loader that someone can win in the, I guess, the live auction.
Yes, there is going to be a muzzle loader that someone can win, and all the proceeds for that will go directly to the Civil Rights Coalition. So, yep.
And you're going to have a true descendant of one of the Sons of Liberty there.
Yep, there's going to be somebody there that is their great-great-grandfather, and they're going to tell the story of their legacy. And they're going to be in full dress because they're part of the reenactment that morning.
Wow.
So, it's really cool.
So tell everyone, how can they get tickets to this event? Where is it going to be? Website, humma.
Yep. So if you go to goal.org, again, that's GOAL.org. And if you go to the homepage, scroll down, the event for both the field day and the dinner event will be there as well. Click on that and grab yourself a ticket.
And if you're in the surrounding states of Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, feel free to come on up.
Yep. And the best, so I also want to mention I'm emceeing the event. So I want to mention that too, because I wanted a couple ladies have reached out to me and said, why is there no female speakers? I'm representing, I'm there, I'm going to be a speaker, I'm emceeing it. So I'm really excited to be that part of that event in that caliber. So any questions at all, definitely reach out to me. That's Kerrie, Kerrie, at GOAL.org.
Well, look, and I want to see more women, like you just said, get involved and get engaged, because the group that gets hurt the most when our Second Amendment rights are infringed upon and undermined are women. And I say that sincerely, having been the dad to two daughters. I took them to the range. I got them to understand how important it is to be able to go out and defend themselves against someone that, as you articulated in our first interview, it's an equalizer for a woman.
Yes.
When she's attacked and she's assaulted. So I'll give you the final word. What do you guys want to leave people with in the last 60 seconds?
I just, I'm really excited to be able to celebrate this with all our true patriots. So I hope that you can all be here to celebrate with us, and let's unite and try to win this fight. And thank you so much, Colonel West, for having me on again. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, Kerrie Ann Auclair, and she, again, is the Women's Program Assistant for Gun Owners Action League, GOAL, and leads the Massachusetts chapters of the Women for Gun Rights and Armed Women of America. Please go to the goal.org, GOAL.org website, and come by and see us on April the 19th of 1775, 250th anniversary. I'll be there, and I look forward to seeing many patriots. And again, Kerrie, I just want to tell you how cool it is for a kid born and raised in the inner city of Atlanta, Georgia, to be there in Lexington for the 250th anniversary of the start of the American Revolution. This is a great country. I don't care what people say.
I agree. I totally agree. So,
well,
yeah.
God bless you, and you are truly steadfast and loyal. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Steadfast Law Podcast. Please click that like button, share it with others. And if you are in the area there of Lexington, Concord, Boxborough, Massachusetts on April the 19th, come on by. God bless.
Before they burn it down.